Hopefully I'm back on track. All right, so take a second to do that little physical inventory. Notice your physical body. Notice the floor beneath you. Take a nice deep breath. And then notice if there's any parts of your body that are calling attention to them, anything that needs to be taken care of or addressed throughout your practice. Just set an intention here to honor your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain. Treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then shift your focus over to your thoughts and just notice if you've carried anything in with you from your morning so far. If you've got a to-do list sitting in front of you, see what can you set down, knowing all of that stuff will be there when you're done with your practice. And then set an intention here to honor your mind throughout your practice and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then with that intention set, bring a little bit of focus to the breath. So bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, and just start by noticing the natural rhythm of your breath. So no need to force or change the breath, but just take a gentle inhale and slow exhale and notice the physical movement of the breath underneath your hands. And as we tune in and notice that physical movement of breath, notice the breath coming in and out through your nostrils. Is one side more congested than the other? And there's no right or wrong. We just want to tune in and pay attention, being a little mindful here. And then maybe noticing the physical location of the breath. So are you noticing the breath a little bit more in your chest or your shoulders, in the back side of your body or your belly? And again, there's no right or wrong. We just want to notice. And then as you start to pay attention to the breath, can you slow your breath down? Drawing the inhale in just at a slower pace. And then an even slower exhalation if you can find it. And as you start to slow the breath down, breathing in through the nose, slowing down your exhalation out through the nose, can you find a little attention and awareness at the breath in your sinuses and your nostrils? So tune in and notice the soft palate of your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nostrils, can you find a lifting and opening up sensation through the soft palate of your mouth, finding a little constriction of the back of your throat, and maybe finding that ocean breath sound? And then as you exhale, keeping that little bit of constriction in the back of your throat, making that ocean sound as you exhale as well. Breathing in, the soft palate lifts, create a little space for the breath, a little constriction in the back of the throat as we make that ocean sound. And then maintain that constriction in the back of your throat as you exhale. Taking one more moment here just to explore that breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, let your hands just relax down towards your knees. As you inhale, gently lift your chin upward towards the sky. And as you exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Inhale and lift your chin up. Exhale and tuck your chin down. Inhale, chin lifts up. Exhale, tuck your chin down and then stay here. See if you can just keep your shoulders soft and down. And then we're going to make little figure eights with the nose. So you're just going to find this gentle rocking of the head side to side, noticing the back of your neck, noticing the space along the side of your neck. Notice here if you're holding any tension in your jaw. See if you can soften your jaw just a little bit. And take one more little rock of the head side to side, and then keeping the chin down towards the chest, we're going to roll the left ear over to the left shoulder, and then finding that nice little bit of length through the right side of the neck. And then if it feels good, right hand's going to extend out and touch the floor just to create a little bit of a long line of energy down to the fingertips, up through the crown of your head. Take a nice big breath here. Nice slow breath out. Hands going to find the knee, roll your chin down to your chest, right ear to right shoulder. And then if it feels good here, left hand is going to extend out, fingertips touch the floor. And then we just find that little bit of energy down through the fingertips, up through the crown of your head. And take a nice big breath here. Awesome. Hands going to find the knee, chin rolls down to the chest. Make a couple little figure eights here just to kind of soothe all of that out. And then we're going to move right into a seated cat-cow from here. Inhale, lifting your chin, lifting your chest, arching your back, squeeze between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round your back, pull the abdominal muscles in around your shoulders. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to round your back. Nice. 3 more cycles of breath here, just moving with your breath's rhythm. Move at a pace and a depth that feels right. Beautiful. And then the next time you find your way to a nice neutral spine, left hand's going to touch the ground, right hand's going to reach up, take a nice big side bend, pull that top thumb back, gaze up towards the ceiling, take a nice big breath. Can you tune in and notice the breath in the side of your body? Tune in and notice the breath in your ribs. Take one more breath. Awesome. And then take it over to the other side. Right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. And then see if you can tune in again, noticing the breath in the ribs, noticing the breath in your side body. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then lift up and take it into a seated twist. Right hand's going to find the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale and get nice and tall. Cool. And then when you're ready, release and unwind, take it to the other side, finding that twist over the other way, thinking about getting tall on your inhale. Beautiful. And when you're ready, release, unwind, and we'll take it into an easy seated forward fold, but just take it to that halfway point. So just walk yourself forward a little bit and then kind of wiggle around in your sits bones. Make a little space like you're trying to pull the belly up and over. So we create that little bit of space through the front of the body, and then soften the back of your neck. Notice your low back. Take a nice big breath in. Nice slow breath out. And then gently walk your hands back up, and we're going to walk the hands behind for a gentle back bend here. So we're going to get nice tall fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, lift the chin, just find a little opening through the front of the body, through the collarbones. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release, and we're going to come back to the head and the neck. So we're going to drop the left ear over to the left shoulder, extending the right hand out. Fingertips are going to touch the ground. Take 3 big breaths here. Hand's going to find the knee, chin rolls down to the chest, take the right ear over to the right shoulder. Left hand's going to extend out, fingertips touch the floor, and then take 3 big breaths here. Hand's going to find the knee, chin rolls down to the chest. Make a little figure eight with your nose just to soothe the back of your neck. And then lift your chin to a neutral space, lean back into your sit bones, swing your legs out with a super generous bend of the knees. Just take a couple little rocks to the knees side to side, not those big windshield wipers, but just find a little bit of movement right out of the hips. And then tune in and notice, how are your knees feeling here? How are your feet feeling? How are your ankles feeling? And then we're going to walk our feet forward just a little bit, still keeping a nice bend in the knees. And we're just going to bring a little point and flex to the feet. So still keeping a big giant bend in the knees. So we're not trying to yank against the backs of the legs yet. We just want to find a little movement through the ankle and the foot. Cool. One more little flex and point of the foot. And then we're going to keep that super generous bend in the knees, but step your feet a little bit wider. So finding the outer edges of your mat, and then catch hold of your knees. Think about pulling the belly up and over, and then lean the heart forward with a nice long spine. And then once you find your belly and your chest resting against your thighs, soften the back side of your body and let your hands catch hold of your toes, soften the back of your neck, and take 3 nice big breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy, walk yourself back up. We're going to swing the legs out to one side. So we're going to come into our little zigzag seat. Take a second to find your way there. So you want to make sure that your butt feels like it's nice and solid on the ground. Any configuration with the legs that feels good. So one leg is externally rotated, one leg is internally rotated. And once you feel like you found your way there, super light and gentle, walk yourself forward just to that halfway point, just like you were in that easy seated forward fold. And then take a second here to plant into the palms. Lift your chest, think about squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then we're going to take the right hand, bring it behind the head, see how that feels, keeping that connection there. Can you lift your other hand away, bringing it to the back of the head? And then we're going to pull the ribs back so we find that nice long spine, and then keeping that connection of your hand to your head, lean forward to that halfway point. And then pull yourself right back up and make sure it feels comfortable to the knees and to the hips. If you need to make any adjustments, go ahead and do it. And then one more time, we're going to lean forward, pull it back. Nice. And then release your hands, lean back into your sits bones, swing your legs out and around, finding your way to that zigzag seat on the other side. Give yourself a second to find your way there. Make sure your butt feels comfortable on the ground. Once you feel like everything's in a good position, walk yourself forward just to that halfway point. Plant your palms, lift your chest, squeeze between the shoulder blades, heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Nice. And then bring your left hand behind the head, keeping that connection there. Bring the other hand up to meet, keeping that nice long spine. Beautiful. And then lift yourself up just a little bit, and then lean yourself forward to that halfway point. Nice. Lift yourself up and lean yourself forward. One more time. Lift yourself up. Beautiful. Lean yourself forward and then release your hands to the ground, walk yourself on up. And now we're going to swing ourselves around into a tabletop position. So if it feels good to just pivot those legs around or come around in any way that feels good, but find your way onto all fours. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to curl the toes under right away and then find that rocking forward and back, pulling the butt back towards the heels and then bringing the shoulders back in line with the wrists. Take the time here to notice, how do your toes feel? How do the bottoms of your feet feel? How do your wrists and your fingers feel? Awesome. Now, the next time your butt pulls back to your heels, stay there for an extra second or two, just tuning in and noticing. Take a nice big breath into the bottom of your feet. Nice slow breath out. Awesome. And then lift yourself back up, releasing your toes. So we're in that tabletop position. And we're going to bring it up into the wrists and the hands. So we're going to press into the fingertips. So the wrists or the palms lift away from the floor, a little wrist push up, and then float your wrists back down. Press into the fingertips, lift your wrists away, a little strengthening for the fingers and the hands. Nice. And then release it back down, nice and slow. One more time, just like that. lifting the wrists up away from the ground, feeling that strength in the hands and the fingers. Beautiful. Float it down and then tune into your elbows. And we're going to rotate the eyes of the elbows towards the top of the mat, bending your elbows towards your ribs. So a little bit of a tricep push-up and then push your way right back up. Maintaining the eyes of the elbows forward, bend your elbows toward your ribs, heart lowers down, and then lift yourself back up. Beautiful. One more just like that. Bend the elbows, lower your heart, push your way back up, nice and strong. And then whichever position with the eyes of the elbows feels the most comfortable to you. And now we're going to take it into the scapula. So we're going to take it into some scapular push-ups. So we're going to squeeze between the shoulder blades and just let the heart lower down, and then broaden the shoulders, pushing the floor away from you. Beautiful. Dropping the chest, squeeze between the shoulder blades, and then push the floor away, broadening the shoulders. Nice. One more just like that. Dropping the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then bring it back up and broaden the shoulders. Nice. And then find a nice neutral spine. And we're going to take it into pelvic tilt. So we're going to stay in this tabletop position. And rather than big cat cow, we're just going to draw the tailbone down and then lift the tailbone up. So it's going to be a super subtle motion. It's not going to look like a big, generous motion like cat and cow does. So we just want to lift the tailbone slightly up towards the sky and then curl the tailbone slightly down. Beautiful. Two more just like that, just finding a little bit of a rhythm in your body. Nice. And then from here, take it into your cat and cow. Inhale as you drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, big rounding of the back. Curl the tailbone under, tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale to drop the belly. Exhale to round the back. And then keep that breath going, just tuning in, noticing your back, your spine, your shoulders. And then only moving at a depth that feels appropriate in your body. Beautiful. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then when you're ready with a neutral spine, take it into puppy pose or heart melting pose. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat, keeping your hips in line with your knees, chest and forehead melt down. Take 3 nice big breaths here. When you're ready, nice and easy, walk yourself back up to tabletop position. We're going to slide the right leg back, toes curled under, take a couple of gentle rocks forward and back just to bring a little movement into the heel and the calf. Great. And then the next time your shoulders come in line with the wrist, stay there, lift the leg up. So heel is just going to extend straight out from the hip. And then we're going to externally rotate. So turn the toes out to the right and then turn the toes back down towards the ground. Turn the toes out to the right, turn the toes back down towards the ground, turn the toes to the right, turn them back down, nice. And then keep the toes turned down, but bend your knees. So heel is reaching up towards the sky, and we're going to take 3 pushes of the heel up towards the ceiling. So push your heel up towards the sky, bring the knee back in line with the hip, push the heel up and bring it back. Beautiful. One more time. Nice. And then lower that foot down with control. And we're going to take that all to the other side. Slide your left foot back, toes curled under, rock yourself forward and back. Nice. And then the next time you bring your shoulders in line with your wrists, stay there, lifting that left heel up, turning the toes out to the left, and then toes back down towards the ground. Turning the toes to the left and back down towards the ground. Turn the toes to the left, back down towards the ground. Beautiful. Toes stay pointed down. Then we're going to bend the knee, push the heel up towards the ceiling, bring the knee back in line with the hip. Push the heel up and bring it back. Lovely. One more time, just like that. Nice. And then bring that knee down with control. Big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. Take it to extended child's pose. Pull your butt back to your heels. Belly, chest, forehead melt down. Take a second here to come back to the breath and tune in. Notice how your body's feeling. Take one more breath here. Staying nice and low in this extended child's pose, we're going to take it into a little side body work. So we're going to walk our hands over and off to the left. Right hand's going to stack on top of the right. Soften your elbows down. Let your forehead get nice and heavy. Tune in. Notice the right side of your body. Notice your right ribs. Take a big breath there. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, take it through the center of your mat and over and off the other side. Left hand's going to stack on top of the right hand. Elbows heavy, forehead soften down. Nice. And then when you're ready, take it back through center. We're going to lift ourselves up, walk your knees back in, finding that tabletop position. And we're going to take it into our crooked table. So left elbow and forearm are going to come down onto the ground. We're going to keep our right hand nice and anchored. We're going to lift the right leg up nice and high. Let the foot fall behind you over to the left. So we want to find a little length through the front of that right hip, and then twirl your foot in circles. Go in one direction. Beautiful. And then twirl your foot in circles. Go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, releasing that knee back down, switching your crooked table. So right elbow and forearm are going to come down. Left leg is going to lift up. We're going to lift that knee nice and high and let the left foot fall over to the right. And then twirl that left foot in circles, go in one direction. And then twirl that foot in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release it back down, come up into your tabletop position, curl both sets of toes under, exhale and start to find your way up to a downward facing dog. Take a few pedals of the legs, bend one knee and press into the opposite heel. When you feel good and ready, start to look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a nice ragdoll fold at the top of your mat. So feet about hip or shoulder width distance apart, super generous bend in the knees, make some space for your belly and your chest. And then if it feels good, catch hold of your elbows, let your head dangle here, and take a moment or two to tune back into your breath. Nice big inhale. Slow but mindful exhale. Noticing the breath coming in and out through your nostrils if you can. As you inhale, finding that lifting and opening up sensation in the soft palate, finding that little constriction in the back of your throat. And then maintaining that constriction in the back of the throat, making that ocean sound as you breathe out. From here, we're going to take it into sundial. So just making sure that your feet feel good and anchored on the ground. If you need to step your feet a little bit wider so you have a good base of support, take a second to do so. Then on an inhale, we're going to take the elbows, take them over to the right, swing them up and overhead. Keep a soft bend in the knees. Exhale and circle it down and around. Inhale, take it over to the right, swing the elbows up and overhead. Exhale and circle them down. Inhale, take them up and over to the right. Exhale, circle down, stay down, swing for just a second, little sway side to side, make sure your feet feel good. And then we're taking it to the left. Inhale, swinging the elbows up and overhead. Exhale, circling them down. Inhale, up and overhead. Exhale, circle down. Inhale, up and overhead. Exhale and circle down. Nice. And then relaxing down, fingertips are going to find the ground. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, take your time, nice and slow. Roll your shoulders around, down and back, and then just give yourself a second to get situated in your standing position. And then we're going to catch hold of those elbows again. So come back to those I dream of genie arms, elbows just straight out in front of the chest. We're going to keep our hips anchored forward. We're going to keep our feet nice and firmly grounded, and we're just going to start to pull the elbows from side to side. So everything else is going to stay stationary, and we're just pulling the elbows across the body. Once you feel like you've got that maneuver down, you're going to take that movement, moving up and down. So we're taking the elbows across the body down towards the belly button, and then across the body up across the shoulders. Nice. And then take it back down again. And then take it back up. One more time, up and down. Beautiful. And then we're going to release the arms and take it right into our little shirt sleeve twist. So we're going to start to swing the arms. And then if you like, step your feet just a little bit wider so your feet can pivot and the heel moves with you as you turn your body gently side to side. Now we're letting the hips move. We're letting the knees move. We're letting the feet move with us. And then if it feels okay here to do so, you're going to make little fists and create a light little tap, hitting the hips as you swing the arms, not beating yourself up, but we're just going to give a little light sensation so we feel that tap inside. And then if it feels really good to do so, close your eyes just for a moment and tune in. Notice your feet connected to the floor. Notice that light tap on your hips. Notice your breath. Take one more time each side or even yourself out. And then let it all come to stillness. Step your feet in so feet are about hip or shoulder width distance apart. Feet nice and firmly grounded. Lifting up through the crown of your head, shoulders soften down, and then bring just a little bit of life or energy down into your fingertips. Pause here in this nice tall stance. And then as you're here in this nice tall stance, just getting a sense of awareness of your front hip bones and see if you can imagine drawing your hip bones in towards each other and just feel a little bit of a firm engagement right in your center. As you pull those hip bones in towards each other, shoulders down, take a nice big breath. Awesome. On your next inhale, arms reach up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. And as it is 7:30, if you have to get on with the rest of your day, I hope that it's amazing. But if you're sticking around, keeping that mountain pose at the top of your mat, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold, keeping that nice long spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. One more time, just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. We're going to interlace the fingers here, flip the palms, press them forward, make some space for your shoulder blades to glide down. And then once all is feeling good, press the arms up and overhead. And then come back to that sensation again of the hip bones drawing in towards each other. So we keep a little firmness in our center and then take a side bend one way. Come back to center, side bend the other way. Come back to center. Unlace your fingers, float them behind the back, interlace the fingers here, draw the knuckles down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up through the chest and the collarbones, lift your chin up to the sky, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, unlace your fingers back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale to fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. We're going to step the right leg back, but don't step it super far. We're going to come to warrior one. So we're going to step it back, drop the heel down, turn the toes out. Hips are going to stay facing forward. Lift your chest up. Inhale, raise your arms up. And then see if you can just tune into that left hip crease. We want to pull the left hip crease back slightly. But if that does not feel good to your back heel or your knee, you always have the option to pick the heel up and take it into a bit more of a crescent lunge. So you choose the option that feels really good to that knee and that hip. Arms extending up to the sky. Take a nice big breath. Cool. Now from here, we're going to straighten the front leg. Left hand is going to find the hip. We're going to reach through the right hand. So we're hinging from the waist, reaching forward, and then take that right hand, reach across and see if you can find the outside of your left thigh. And then we're just going to find a little bit of rotation. Wedging against that left thigh, keeping the legs nice and strong, rotating a little bit through the torso. Left shoulder draws up. Maybe turn your head, look up, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then start to unwind, bending that front knee, floating the hands back up, back into that warrior one position. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to bring it down to the ground. So you're going to float your hands down. You can step that right leg back a little further if that feels good to go a little deeper into a runner's lunge. And then when you're ready, plant your palms, bring it back to a plank or tabletop, and then lower yourself down onto your belly with control. 3 low cobras here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale and lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower down. Awesome. Now we're going to take it up into our downward facing dog, and we're going to lift the leg up and roll the hip open. But if it feels better to take it into a tabletop with the crooked table and lifting the leg up, take the variation that you think feels good to you here. If it feels nice, downward facing dog, right leg is going to come up into that 3-legged dog position. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Beautiful. One more breath. Float that foot back down to your downward facing dog. Soften your knees, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a little ragdoll fold at the top of your mat. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, take your time. Roll your shoulders around, down and back. Back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back. We're going to find our warrior 1 position here. So heel drops down, toes turn out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, arms raise up. Think about pulling that right hip crease back. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then straighten that front leg, right hand to the hip, reaching through the hand as you hinge yourself forward. Left hand's going to reach across, finding the outside of that right thigh. And then we're going to leverage against that thigh. So the bottom ribs pull down, top ribs reach up. Maybe turn your head, look up towards the sky. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then start to unwind. Bend that front knee, float your hands up, find that warrior 1 position again. Nice. And then float your hands down to the ground. You can shift that back leg back into your runner's lunge if that feels like a good way to go. Beautiful. Plant your palms, step back to a plank, lower onto your belly with control. 3 low cobras here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to lower down. Taking either to your crooked table or up to your downward facing dog. Totally up to you. Left leg is going to come up nice and high. Bend the knee and let the hip roll open. Nice. And then when you're ready, releasing that foot back down to the ground, soft knees, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a fold at the top of your mat. Super generous bend in the knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, take your time, roll your shoulders down and back. Awesome. Now right hand's going to palm facing out, slide up to the back in between the shoulder blades, just as far as you can reach. And don't worry about going up into any position that doesn't feel good into the shoulders. But now the other hand is going to reach up and overhead. And we're just going to see if we can find a little connection. Doesn't matter if the fingers touch. We just want to find that little bit of opening up through the front of the body, through the shoulders. Once you feel like you've got a good position here, you can always clasp your shirt if that feels like a good handhold. But if everything is feeling good, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold over, let your head drop down. Let your legs straighten just as much as feels good. Take a nice big breath. Bend your knees, lift from the top of your head, let your heart follow, come up nice and slow. Unwind those arms, roll the shoulders down and back, and we take it to the other side. Left palm facing backwards, slides up in between the shoulder blades just as far as it likes to go. The other hand is going to reach up and touch the space between the shoulder blades. You can grab hold of your shirt if that feels like a good handhold. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold over, let that top elbow get nice and heavy, straighten your legs just as much as you like, take a nice big breath. Beautiful, bend your knees, lift from the top of your head, let your heart follow, come up nice and slow. Unwind your arms and give your shoulders a little shrug just to kind of soothe all of that out. Nice. And then find your mountain pose again at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lifts as you look up, just a gentle back bend. Exhale and fold it all down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to down dog. Pick up the heels, lower the knees, come to a tabletop position. We're going to take it into our gate pose. Right leg is going to step out to the right. Hands to your hips, come to a nice high kneel position. Right hand onto the thigh, left hand reaches up, take a side bend. Beautiful. And then we're going to take it into our supported half moon. So left hand is going to find the ground. Right leg is going to lift up straight out from the hip. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Turn your head, look up towards the ceiling. Nice and stable here. Take a nice big breath. Sweet. And then if it feels good and available, you're going to bend that right knee. Right hand's going to catch hold of the foot. And then if that feels good and you've got a good handhold, push your foot into your hand. Open up just a little bit more. Lovely. And then with control, release your hold through that half moon. Nice. And then spin it all around. Leg comes behind you, hands come forward into a tabletop position. Take a cat-cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to a nice neutral position. Left leg is going to step out nice and wide into that gate pose. Hands to the hips, come to that tall kneel. Left hand on the thigh, right hand reaches up, lean over to the left. Beautiful. And then into that supported half moon. Right hand's going to touch down to the ground. Left leg lifts up straight out from the hip. Left hand extends up towards the ceiling. Maybe you turn your head and look up. Awesome. And then if you feel good and stable here, bend that left knee, reach back, catch hold of that foot. And then if you've got hold of the foot and it feels good, push your foot into your hand and open up. Nice. And then when you're ready, releasing through that half moon, spin the hands around, foot comes behind you, back into that tabletop position. Taking a cat-cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Beautiful. Neutral spine, curl the toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Nice. We're going to take the right leg up into three-legged dog, and then we're going to step the right foot up into a wide lunge. So step it up to the top right corner of your mat, to the outside of your pinky finger. Drop the back knee down. Let the back toes go. Give a second here just to let everything settle in. If you like, wiggle your hips a little bit, make a little space for everything. And then once everything feels good and settled in, heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Awesome. Now we're going to take 3 rocks forward and back. So we're going to pull the hips back. You're going to keep the toes pointing forward or keeping them connected to the floor just as much as you can. So only pull back as far as feels good and then bring it right back forward. And then pull the hips back, stretching through the front of the ankle as you lengthen through the front of that leg. Beautiful. And then bring it forward. One more just like that. Pull the hips back, stretch through the front of the ankle. Nice. And then bring it forward. And this time, if you like, into your lizard lunge. So you can stay here, or you can let the knee drop open, come onto the blade edge of your foot, come down elbows and forearms, and take 3 nice big breaths here. When you're ready, nice and easy. Foot comes back down to the flat, come on up, curl the back toes under, lift your back knee up. We're going to shoot that right leg back into three-legged dog, nice and strong, send it up to the sky. Nice, and then release it to your downward facing dog, and we're going to take it to the other side. Left leg is going to come up into three-legged dog, stepping that left foot up to the top left corner of your mat, so to the outside of your pinky finger. Beautiful. Bring the back knee down, release your back toes. And give a second here, wiggle everything around, make sure it all feels good in a good situation. And then once things are feeling good, rock it back, pointing through the toes, finding a little stretch through the front of the foot and the ankle, and then rock yourself forward again. Pull the hips back, keep the toes pointing forward. Beautiful. And then rock yourself forward. One more just like that. Pull the hips back. Rock yourself forward. Nice. And then here, if it feels good, into your lizard lunge, you can let the knee drop open onto the blade edge of your foot. And then if all of that feels good, you can come down elbows and forearms, but only if that feels like a good position for your knee and for your hip. Take one more breath. Wonderful. When you're ready, fall onto the flat of your foot, walk yourself back up, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, and then if it feels good, front leg is going to shoot back into that three-legged dog position, nice and strong. Beautiful. And then float that foot down to your downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands. We're going to stay in a nice low folded position, and we're going to start to walk our feet to the outer edges of your mat. So you can toe heel it out, or you can step it out, anything that gets you there, but finding that wider position, that wider stance with the mat, with the toes turning out to the left and to the right. Now we're going to start to rock it down towards the ground. So we're going to bend the knees, shift the hips side to side, finding some space in the hips and making sure the knees feel good. And then if all is feeling good, we're going to start to sink it down. So take your butt down with you into that bigger rocking motion. And then if you like Malasana, that nice low squat, settling in the middle, butt sinks down, elbows to the inner thighs, prayer hands together, nice tall lifted spine. Take a second here. Not everybody gets into this position comfortably, and especially in the Achilles heel. So if it ever feels like it's too much, set your butt down, lean back into your sits bones, and just pull your knees up towards your shoulders. You're still getting the same work in the hips, but you're not aggravating the Achilles heel quite as much, and it might feel a little bit more comfortable to the knees. So whichever variation you like better, take a second to find it. Take one or two good breaths there. Nice. And then when you're ready, set your butt down onto the ground if it's not already there, right into cobbler's pose or butterfly position, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. Take your thumbs to the insteps of your feet. We're going to peel the feet open like a book. So blade edges of the feet are going to stick together. We're going to let the feet open up just a little bit, create a little bit more space for the knees. And then keeping that position with the legs, lean your heart forward just a little bit. And then come back up nice and tall. Lean your heart forward just a little bit. Come back up nice and tall. Nice. One more time, just like that. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to just take it back into an easy seat for a second. So crisscross your legs or come into a nice comfortable seated position, because we want to take it back into the head and the neck and the shoulders. So once you've got yourself in a comfortable seat, take your left ear, drop it over towards your shoulder. And then we're going to reach the left hand up, just let it rest comfortably on the side of the head. So allowing just the weight of your hand to draw you a little deeper into that stretch without yanking against your head. And then if it feels good here, close your eyes down, take a couple nice deep breaths. Sticking with this side, but we're going to find a little bit of a variation. So turn your nose down towards your armpit, reposition your hand so it's finding the back of your head. And again, we're just letting the hand rest on the head, and then allow everything to soften here. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Nice. And then when you're ready, release your hand, rotate the ear back towards the shoulder, lift your head back up to neutral, and then take it over to the other side. Let your ear drop toward your shoulder. Reach your hand up, let it rest comfortably on the side of your head. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Beautiful. When you're ready, turning your nose down towards your armpit, readjusting your hand so it finds the back of your head. Nice. And then when you're ready, rolling that ear back to the shoulder, release your hand, float your head up to center, make a couple little figure eights with the nose just to kind of soothe all that out, make sure everything feels good, shrug your shoulders, give everything a little soft jiggle. And then when you're ready, releasing your feet, curling your way down to the ground. We're just going to roll down onto our back, walk your heels in so they're nice and close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart, into a bridge position. So hands alongside the hips, palms pressing down, shoulder heads pressing down. Curl your tailbone up as you reach your knees toward your toes. Find that lift of the hips, and then let that lift come from the backs of the legs and the glutes. Once you found your way up, stay there for a second. Notice your heart lifting up, shoulder heads pressing down, and then we're going to see about just dropping the sternum down and finding a little bit more work through the backs of the legs. So think about drawing your sternum down towards the ground, but keeping that engagement in the glutes and the hamstrings. Take a nice big breath. And then keeping with that lifted position, we're going to lift the heels up 3 times. So as you inhale, press into the balls of the feet, lift the heels, lower your heels back down with control. Lift your heels up, lower your heels back down, lift your heels up, lower your heels down, sternum drops down towards the ground, and then roll your way back down. Nice and slow and controlled. Once your hips touch down, pull both knees into your chest, give yourself a light little squeeze, and maybe a gentle rock side to side. Awesome. We're going to take it into supine twist from here. So hold on to your right knee, send your left leg nice and long, hang out here for a second just to find that little squeeze in the knee. And then when you feel good and ready, right knee's coming over and across the body to the left. Right arm opens out nice and wide. Turn your head to the right and then settle in here. Take a couple nice big breaths. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, pulling that right knee back into the chest, we're going to switch our grips, but stay with that right leg, extending your right heel up towards the ceiling. A nice generous bend in that knee. Walk your hands up towards your ankle, let your chest and chin lift, and then draw your nose towards your knee. Take a nice big breath, feeling just a little bit of length through the back of the leg. Nice, and then lower everything down, bending that knee, pull the left knee into the chest. So both knees into the chest, give a little squeeze, and then hold onto the left knee, send your right leg nice and long. Awesome. And then when you're ready, left knee comes over and across the body to the right, left arm opens out wide, turn your head to the left if that feels good, and then settle in here. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, pull the left knee back into your chest, sticking with that left leg, extending leg up or heel up towards the sky. Walk your hands up, reaching up towards the ankle, let your chest and chin lift, nose towards the knee, take a nice big breath. Beautiful, and then float it all down, bending that left knee, bringing the right knee into meet, so both knees back into the chest and into our happy baby. So knees to the outer edges of our shoulders, float the feet up, reach up, see if you can grab hold of the blade edges of your feet or the big toes or the backs of the thighs, whichever grab feels good. And then give a second here, make some space for the hips, make some space for the knees to get heavy towards the ground. And then once you feel like you've got a good position, find a little organic movement. Maybe you find a little rocking side to side. Maybe you just move through the feet. Maybe you move your legs. Any bit of movement here that feels good. Beautiful. And then we're going to release our feet into legs up the wall. So release your hand hold, float your feet up towards the sky, let your arms come out at your sides, maybe at an anatomical position about 45 degrees away from the body, and then right back up to the feet, pulling your toes in toward your body, and then pointing your toes up towards the ceiling, pulling the toes in, and then pointing the toes away. And then just take a couple more just like that, just moving through the feet, stretching through the ankles, feeling that nice flex in the backs of the calves as you pull the toes in. Nice. One more little point and flex of the feet, and then we're going to float the feet down to the ground and take it into our little horse gallop. So knees bent, feet about hip width distance apart, feet firmly planted, and then you're going to push into your heels. You're going to find that sensation like you're galloping on a horse, and you can rearrange your arms if it doesn't feel good to have them out to your sides. But if it feels good to leave them there, go ahead and do so. And then just make sure that this feels like a safe and comfortable maneuver for your back, for your hips, for your head and your neck. If anything doesn't feel good, either soften it up a little bit or just leave it off altogether. But if it feels good, take 1 or 2 more little gallops of your horse, just finding that nice vibrational movement in the body. And then let that come to stillness. Toe heel your feet to the outer edges of your mat and bring it into some windshield wipers, dropping the knees gently side to side, just moving at a range of motion that feels good to you. Nice. Take 1 more drop of the knees side to side or even yourself out. And then keeping your feet in that wider position, let the knees collapse in towards each other. So pause for a moment in your constructive rest. Bring 1 hand to the belly, 1 hand to the heart, and tune back into your breath. Eyes closed or soften your gaze. Take a nice deep inhale. Nice slow exhale. As you breathe in through the nose, can you find that lift through the soft palate? That little constriction in the back of your throat, maybe making that ocean sound. And a slow exhale, keeping that light constriction in the back of your throat. Take 1 more conscious breath here. And then letting that go, start to find your way into your Shavasana. So maybe you like to stay in constructive rest, super supportive to the low back. Maybe you want to come into a reclined cobbler's pose. You might even like to tuck some pillows up underneath the thighs to keep the legs supported. Or if it feels really good to find that more traditional shape, walk your feet long towards the end of your mat, or any other variation of the body that feels good to you. But give yourself a second to find your way there, and then invite a little softness in. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Invite some gentle movement back into your body. Maybe moving the wrists, maybe moving the ankles, the knees, or the hips. And then maybe taking a deeper breath back into your body. Reach your arms up and overhead. Take that nice big good morning stretch like a yawn. And then when you feel good and ready, start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. Find your way up in any way that feels good and take your time. Nice. And then as you come back to that comfortable seat, just give a second to sit up nice and tall. We're going to take the left hand, reach over and across, and we're just going to kind of put a little bit of a press onto the skin. So we're going to trap the skin underneath the hand. And then once you feel like you've got that little trap of the skin, turn your head gently side to side. So just make sure you're moving in a safe range of motion so that you're not pinching the skin or doing anything that sort of irritates. But you just want to feel that movement of skin underneath your hand as you turn your head gently side to side. Beautiful. One more turn of the head side to side. And then bring your head back to center, release your hand, and then switch to the other side. Hand's going to reach across and just a little trap of the skin underneath your hands. And then once you feel like you found it, turn your head side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bring your head back to center, releasing your hand, and we're just light piano fingers, just do a little light tap up and down the chest towards the collarbones and then down towards the sternum. And then if you like for a moment here, close your eyes down and just tune in and notice. Listen into that nice light tapping sound, noticing the sound in your breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, stack one hand on top of the heart and the other hand right on top of that hand, closing your eyes down. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for the time that you take to take care of yourself. Take another nice deep breath. And if you had that to-do list or any of that stuff that was sitting in front of you that you set down, maybe pick it back up with a little bit of sense of lightness and joy. And gently lift up through the top of your head. Gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy, happy Thursday.